gets excited and then.
I'm over it.
It's 7 PM on June 13th, 2024 at 7 PM. If we all can rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Roll call, please.
Mayor Henderson,
Present.
President Jamal,
Present.
Councilman Mason,
Here.
Councilman Payborn,
Yes.
Councilman Harrier,
Here.
Councilwoman Morton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry. Here.
All right, we'll go into the approval of the regular council meeting minutes from May 9th, 2024. Has everyone had a chance to read those?
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to approve? Bill made the motion. Any,
Second.
seconded by Michelle. Roll call?
Second by Michelle, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. President Jamal,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Payborn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
Thanks. Next section is public input. So we'll go into public input. If you would like to speak, please come up to the mic, speak, state your name and your address.
I got a question. I'm trying to get a permit for a deck. It's
Okay.
been 2 weeks. I just wanted to know if there's any kind of holdup or,
Have you applied for a permit?
yes, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so we have about 30 days to process that. Our zoning officer will get back with you on that if there's any questions, so.
But it's due the second week of July.
I'm sorry, what is due?
The deck, the guy's coming out the second week. That's what
Okay,
you're trying to put
again,
in.
that still has to go through a process with us.
Okay.
We always try to tell people, it could take up to 30 days. We try to get them processed as quickly as we can. But,
We just wondered if there's any problems or something. or-
I couldn't
If it's
answer
just
that sitting here because our zoning officer handles all that, so.
Okay.
But we can follow up with her and have her reach out to you.
Thank you.
Yep. And what was your address? 313, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And again, welcome to Pleasantville.
Yeah.
I hope you like it here.
Love it.
Anyone else?
Carla Russell, 101 Pleasant Court. I have the same question regarding decks. When I moved here, neither one of my decks were safe, and I'm just now getting the opportunity to tear them down and put new ones up. The first conversation with Heather was through email on May 23rd. She wanted to meet with me to go over some things because I've got questions about a lot of different options with not just decks, but just other things I want to clear up. And I have not heard anything back from her to even say, she said, let's get together and meet at your house, and I've not heard a thing back.
Okay.
And I'm not even in the application part.
Okay. So, and again, just for,
Right.
so everyone's aware, there are no full-time employees here. Everyone
Right.
is working second, third jobs to do what we're doing here. So it's not like Lancaster where we have a full staff Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. These people are working 40, 60 hours a week and then trying to fit in this stuff to get things done for us. So we have a
Right,
proper
right.
process.
Right, I understand that, but
yeah.
I do, on the Facebook page for Pleasantville, on June 1st, somebody asked that question about decks. And
Okay,
the person
so-
had it done within 1 week, a permit.
But again, everything's different, and I believe I talked to you on the phone when you called over to the office one day.
If that's you, yeah.
And we went way back to when you first moved here, and the prior administration had told you something that you could or couldn't do that may or may not be true today, type
Well,
thing.
that was only a year ago,
Yeah.
within a year.
But again, like, when it comes to questions, questions are very broad, and until you put an application, it's hard to say, okay, this is what you can or can't do. So I'm gonna use fencing for an example. Depending on the type of fence, where you're at, how it's zoned, there's different rules. Meaning, can you build right on the line? Do you have to be 5 feet in the line? Like, there's all these different things, and it's not a very cut and dry thing. Sometimes it is you and a neighbor want to share the expense of the fence to where a certain type would allow you to put it on the line, but, like, there's all these questions. So fencing is kind of I call it a taboo subject because everyone thinks, oh, I just put up a fence, and if you get it done in a week, I should be able to too. Everyone's dynamic's different. Plus, it may have been when she was in the office, like, she had everything she needed, they had everything perfect. But if you haven't put in your application yet,
Because she wants to meet with me
okay.
first to go over stuff.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
arguing with you. I understand that, but I just want to make sure that you understand, kind of how that's going.
And I do, and I
Yeah.
understand it's probably a part-time job, which I'm sure it is.
It's less, it's less than a part-time, but yeah, just so you're aware, but we'll reach out to Heather
Okay.
and have her follow up with
I
you as
would
well.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, but I can't
Okay.
tell you when, because again, these are, we get people when we can with these type of,
I just know that I've got now tape up on my front porch because it is not safe at all to walk
Okay.
on. So it's kind of scary.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Monica Atkins, 313 North Main Street. I have read the zoning,
Mhm.
and they're a little confusing to me.
Yes.
I'm wondering if we can get some clarity
One.
on the zoning.
So again, zoning is zoning is not A, B plus C. I hate to say it that way, but it's not very like, you have to do this, you have to do that, even though it says these are your steps. Zoning is like, these are the general ideas and rules that this body, whatever council adopted. Then you ask, okay, I want to do this, does it fit into these rules? Okay, and
So
it's
different
guidelines. Yes.
situations.
Yeah, and again, we talk fencing versus building a house, like, those are two different subjects. If we're building a house, it may say it has to be a minimum of so many feet wide. There may be some restrictions in there, but when we talk about fencing, there may be some leadway, because a fence, if you and your neighbor want to have a fence that's shared, why wouldn't we allow it? But to protect property, we wouldn't want you to build a house together, type that, like.
That makes
It's an
sense.
exaggeration, but
Right.
Yeah.
But that
yes,
clarifies.
yes.
It's not so the fencing, it doesn't necessarily have to be 5 feet from the property line.
I can't sit here and say it without an application, without knowing what district you live in, without applying the rules. That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
I understand.
Yeah, to make
that.
general statements, it's easy to do, but it's also misleading sometimes. And usually when someone calls up and says, hey, I just got a general question, what's my setback? We're just gonna tell them the worst case scenario, 5 foot. That way you at least have an idea. Because if we tell you 3 inches and then all of a sudden it becomes 5 foot, then it becomes an issue, right? So it's that type of conversation. And it is frustrating, trust me. I built an additional in my house a couple years ago, even as mayor, like, it's still a frustrating process, because it's like, okay, well, I thought this, but now you found this, that this rule applied, so. It's just the way it works. Now, just so everyone knows, our zoning is about 10 years old. We work with Fairfield County, not economic development, but regional planning to build it. Because of all the growth that's coming our way, we're in process as a county as a whole, updating everyone's zoning. So we are now starting a process on the county side that will take us about a year to update our zoning, meaning how can we make it better for people, maybe add some more guidelines, some more descriptions, because again, zoning is a living document. It's not something that should just be adopted and left in a corner somewhere, because things change. After the county gets done, then we bring it here, then we have time. I'm not saying it'll be done in a year, but that's the timeline with the county to kind of get it to this table. And the reason why we're doing that is they have professionals, they have full-time staff that can actually research current laws, what the trends are, to where, we are sitting here like, okay, last time you built a house was, well, I should ask you, last time you built a house was how many years ago and what were the rules? It's not a fair.
My house 27 years.
Yeah. So, it's trying to be fair and making sure we have all that stuff current.
That gives a lot of
Yeah.
more clarity.
Yeah, zoning is always a problem, meaning it's a pain, because it's a process, and I'm a person, when I want to do something, I want to do it now. And that's just me, and zoning will stop you, guaranteed, just because of the process. But yeah, we try to tell everyone at least 30 days to get through the permitting process, because sometimes it takes that long to review stuff, and by the time everyone gets time, because again, we don't have a full-time staff. Okay?
Thank you for
Yeah,
clarifying.
hopefully that helps you out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Thank
still
you.
frustrating.
You guys are busy too, I get it.
Yeah, everyone's busy, it's just, we're trying to do the right thing and not rush through.
Right.
Because it's easy to sign a piece of paper and say, yeah, do whatever you want,
Right.
and then 5 years down the road, we gotta fix something and it costs you more money, so,
Or you have to tear down a shed that you
yeah,
just
Right.
put up.
You put a lot of money
Yeah.
into. I got it.
so. Yeah, hopefully everyone appreciates that, so. Any other public comment? All right, if not, you guys can stay for the meeting, we go on to the regular meeting after this.
That's fine.
All I do ask, if you do have comment, raise your hand or something, so we can get through stuff. Certain things we have to do in a certain way, but again, we appreciate any
Sorry
feedback.
to drag this out. I mean,
I'm sorry?
I didn't mean to drag that.
No, you're fine. That's what the public is. It just, sometimes we get into some of these other things and I can't stop, and it's like people think we're trying to be arrogant. We're not. It's just, we gotta do something before we can let you speak, type thing. So, just so it's awareness, that way everyone kinda knows.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you also make the caveat about no video and
Oh, yes,
volume?
sorry, yeah. Our video is not working again tonight. And if everyone could, make sure you speak up into your mic, so that way it gets picked up on the recorder.
So we have to share, so you have to be really extra loud
Yeah.
for me, because I have 2 minutes from volume only.
Yeah.
So if you would please, like, yeah. Like, I'm not offended if you yell really loud.
Yeah.
I've never been accused of being quiet before.
Me neither. I appreciate that. That way I can hear you on the video, or on the audio, rather. Thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to council reports, finance.
So I didn't really attend, so I don't know. Is there anything
Yeah, really, we just have the one supplemental ordinance that is on later. I did update, our tax budget is due in July. We'll probably have to end up having a special meeting for that because I don't have it completed yet. I was just kind of going over, again, it's the normal budget that we do every year. The only things of note for the next year's budget, let me, sorry, I clicked on the wrong spreadsheet. And this is just hitting a high note, just to kind of give you an idea. Costs keep going up in material, utilities, electric bills, gas bills, everything. So, we're still money, every dollar we bring in, we're spending out type thing. And that's including our special projects that we're doing, the improvements, things like that. So, just for awareness of that, we're not carrying over any large dollar amount type thing. The one thing that will help us out next year is mayor's court, and I don't want to say that meaning that we're just like overcharging people. It's the state fees that we get for having a mayor's court. That's really what's helping out our general fund for next year. If it wasn't for that, we would have had a deficit. So that is helping. I did talk about the police department. We'll have legislation a little bit later about starting 2 part-time positions just to start funding them, not meaning that we're going to use them. But I'm putting some money in next year's budget, only about $20,000 for a full year for part-time hours, just to have a number in there type thing. So, those are really the highlights in the general fund. Streets is pretty much simple because it's just basic stuff that comes out of there for the streets maintenance. Highway fund, recreation, hopefully the pool should be open again next year, depending on what minimum wage is and what other pools are paying. This year, pools are paying between $11 and $11.50, so next year I'm budgeting $12 an hour for guards, which increases our labor, which doesn't help out that account any. Permissive, everything we get goes out just in street lights, so that $12,000 that we get for permissive tax just pays for street lights type thing. And then the water account, it remains stable, but it's not, generating any mass amount of money because of all the updates. And again, the chemicals, the electric out there itself is $12,000 a year for that. So, and the sewer bill out there is another 12 grand. So, that's $25,000 just in 2 utility bills a year. So, but again, this is just the normal stuff that we're dealing with. But any significant change, I guess, or significant note was out of the general fund with those type things. But we'll have more at our special meeting.
And then the festival too.
Oh.
The village has been sort of forwarding money for the festival. So hopefully if it all goes well, then they won't have to do that starting next year.
Because they usually give $4,000 to start, so starting next year, the festival will actually be self-sustaining with start money, so, is the goal. So we didn't budget in that $4,000. $4,000 isn't a big thing, but still just trying to make cuts, wherever we can to put it where it needs to go. All right. Next is records, rules, and law.
So Michelle and I met on Tuesday. We went through, since she led the group last time and now I lead it and I needed some insight. Bob and I are talking about getting together. We're going to try and activate our calendars and come up with a time to discuss what we want to bring back to council. So we should have something at next council.
And we scheduled another meeting with me and Corey, so we can work together next Tuesday.
Okay. And then I did have Sam print off a new committees, because I know we've had a lot of change and all that, just to make sure everyone had a current one with all the listing names and all that, so that way you guys have it. Recreation, Community Center, and Pool, if you don't mind, Sarah, I'll kind of take, because it's pool
Yeah,
construction,
please, yeah.
and I know you, we haven't had a chance to talk, but the main thing on the parks and pool is the pool construction. The concrete has been completely removed. The subcontractor that we had to hire to come in and do the pipe fitting and the repairs and stuff like that is on site this week. Hopefully they are finished by tomorrow. Fingers crossed if they get all the right parts, because they shipped us the wrong parts. And then the concrete guy can come back and finish that part of it. So then that will finish phase one of the pool. And phase two will be the restrooms, which will kind of be during school hours type thing. Now, I know when the concrete comes back in, like, it's gonna take a couple weeks for him to do that, plus has to cure, so, you know, we're still not anywhere close to, even being close to opening up the pool this year, but, you know, again, fingers crossed on what we can or can't do, but that's kind of where we're at with that type thing. But everything seems to be going smooth so far, other than the hiccup with the parts. And that contractor drove to 3 different cities and 3 different parts of Ohio trying to get the parts to make sure we can get it done as quickly as possible, so they're trying.
Can I bring something up real quick about the pool? So when I met with the principal, she did ask that I bring to the mayor and council, sort of an end of the year thing for the 4th graders, sort of like, instead of a clap out, it's more of like a pool thing. So, basically giving the whole 4th grade class a pool pass for the day.
Oh, I love that idea.
So, and it's sort of like the last hurrah in their building, and I said I'd bring it to council. We don't of course, have to talk about it now,
Yeah.
but I just sort of wanted everybody to think about that,
Yep.
and,
No, I love that idea. I believe Bremen does the same thing at their
They
pool for their
do.
4th, and each 4th grader gets one ticket to get in for free, one free day.
right.
And I think it's a great idea, and again, you know me, if we could afford it, the pool would be open free to everyone, because, you know, it's a pool, but unfortunately, that's not how we can do that. But anytime we can get people in there at no
Yeah,
charge.
we did that last year.
All 4th grades?
All 4th graders last year got a
Okay.
pool pass.
I think
Yeah.
that
Okay.
she was more thinking of is that it would
Like a
be
pool day.
open, like we would close it for a pool party for the 4th
Okay.
graders.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times when school gets out, the pool's not open yet.
Yeah, so we'll have to work out the logistics
Well, it
on
would
that.
just have
Yeah.
to be a day,
Yeah.
like, once we get the pool open
Yeah.
and such, so.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a bad idea, because again, the more it can get used, the better it
And
is,
then
so.
some of our clubs in town,
Mm-hmm.
Los Sertoma, maybe the Eagles, maybe the Masons can provide snacks, treats, and goodies.
Mhm.
And then make it a sort of an event
Okay,
for our 4th graders in town.
nope, that sounds great.
Absolutely fantastic idea.
Yep, just put that on a list of things to look at the beginning of the year,
All right.
so we can get prepared for it.
Okay, Chairman.
All right, we'll go ahead and move to county boards, regional planning and board of health.
So there was a meeting June 4th, which I normally listen into, but wasn't able to. And then on the health board, they're really the only update there, having been a meeting, they did spray the village, May 23rd.
Okay. All right, we'll go into grant updates. We do have some changes for our board. And for those of you that don't come to, that haven't been to one of our meetings, this is kind of where we track some of our grants. If you won't know by the beginning of this, by the end of this, this is what I get excited about, because this is kind of where you see the stuff happening. So just kind of top them on our board. These are most recently completed projects. This isn't a complete list. This is just like the more recent things people are remembering, just kind of, this is what we've been doing. This is what we've been applying for, meaning that we've actually submitted an application, we've submitted and we're kind of where we're at in the process, the money, things like that. And this is our wish list. This changes all the time, because again, sometimes if someone comes in and says, hey, have you ever thought of this? We add it to the board. Or, you know, it's been up here for 5 years, it's not going nowhere, let's get rid of it and rethink about it, because maybe we need to break it down a different way. So that's kind of how we do this. Again, it just kind of keeps us on track and it keeps it fresh. So the money that we have applied for, again, OPWC funding for Walnut Street, we won't know that until July, August time period is when we'll hear back from that. But if so, that's almost $500,000. The park playground equipment, I was not funded through Fairfield County CDBG, but we'll reapply for that next year if we're eligible again. And again, that'll be for replacement of in your packet, you do receive a letter congratulating us for our land bank mini grant of $50,000. $15,000, and that is to do the repairs and replacement of all the metal doors in all the different buildings of the village. $15,000 of the mini grant, $10,000 local funds for a total of $25,000, and that was funded. So, thank Fairfield County Land Bank for that and Fairfield County Commissioners. The contractor will approve that tonight, and then once he gets that approval, he can start working, replacing the doors. It won't be all at once. He's kind of fitting each building into each other job that he's done within the year. This money does have to be spent by the end of the year. Kind of just go over this for, everyone that's here. We were here 3 years ago, we were having meetings like 3 or 4 times a year, asking for public input or sending out pamphlets. We wanted you to tell us what you want. That's what this funding is for. And based on it came down to Hickory Loop had a paving project. Paving was chosen. East College restaurants and Pleasantville all that. So those are the things that go in there, and that is still about $850,000. Keep in mind that's a lot of money. When we talk about state contracts, it's a lot of money, plus your engineering fees, your state fees, all that. So it gets eat up very well, or very quick. Paving's been awarded, but they can't start until the storm lines are done. Storm lines are awarded, they just started this week. Pleasantville Park baseball diamond, which will actually now will become a Rose softball diamond for the Little League. It was awarded, and should probably start July-ish. Holly Park restrooms had no bidders, still have no bidders. Anyone that knows contractors, next time that comes out, tell them to put in a bid, because if not, we lose the money and we don't get restrooms. And the reason why is there's so many projects going on right now. When I say that's only a $100,000 project, to me that's a lot of money, but to a contractor that's nothing. They don't want to bid on a $100,000 restroom, state bid restroom, same thing. So it's not worth their money, and if they want to do it, they want to pay you $200,000. What is already overpriced for $100,000. So we can't afford that. So that's kind of where we're at with that. CDBG funding, that's kind of go hand in hand. This out of their local share of the county, full bathrooms, and full bathrooms. I have no bidders, but I think on that one. The projects plus the self-pull is about see a lot of work on Front Street. It'll be behind Second Street in the open field. That will be going to bid, I believe, end of this month, beginning of July. But that can't be completed until fall, until after the farmer fixes harvest. So that right there will probably be a winter project. Water meter replacement, this is just something that we're in process of. This will take us years to do. Total cost is $175,000. So if you guys don't know, your water meters inside your house are all analog, and they need to be switched to digital to read, so that you can send people to your house to do things. They don't have the ones that are in your house have a lifespan of 10 years. They're all over 12 years. They're slowly starting to die off. So this is just the cost to fix it. This is just the cost to do this.
But our house is new. Do you think it's still analog?
You probably still have
Yeah,
313, yeah, because we just started doing this, putting in the newer version, because it's new technology as of this year. So yeah, you probably still have the old one, but your battery still has probably more years left on it. So,
Interesting, thank you.
yeah. And then ARPA, this is COVID money, this is ARPA. The county was getting so much money through COVID, the village was getting so much money through COVID. So we went back and asked the county for some of their COVID funds, and they were able to give us a total of, about $600,000. to do what we're doing on the water tower. So last year we completed the new one, now we're working on the older one. And then we also had to take out a $200,000 loan because we found additional repairs that we needed for that. So that's where that's at. And then I kind of talked about our zoning update. The cost to do that's $5,000, and the county's paying through that for a grant. So that's kind of where we're at with our grant board. So for us, basically, the mini grant will be moved over here next month, but everything else is kind of the same status. Any questions? I don't show this off too often, so I'm kind of proud of it.
Who does your grant writing?
Well, it just depends. I do some grant writing, but we have an engineering firm, Verdandis, Verdandis has changed names over the years, but we have the same engineer, let me put it that way. And he's very good at getting grant funds, so he writes like our big state grants, our NRG, the OPWC. It takes an engineer to do it because it has to have his stamp.
Right?
He does that.
I was just curious.
Yeah, he is very good. I refer him to every village or any local government I know because with us, he doesn't get paid unless he gets the money. So he applies for something, doesn't get it, he doesn't get paid. His company doesn't get paid. I shouldn't say he doesn't. But that's the contract we have. So they only go after things that they know that they can get funded or have a very high success rate with. So, and then the smaller grants, yeah, we work collectively trying to figure out how to do that and word it and stuff like that.
Our mayor actually finds most of them, works on most of them, knows about most of them. Like, he's looking to make the village for you guys better all the time. Like,
I've heard a lot of good things about Jason.
yeah.
Well, you're not talking to the right people because I'll tell you,
I will just let you know, the body of work that's up there on the thing
Yeah.
is.
I can make the Pope mad someday, so
It takes a village.
it does. Yeah, no, and we have a great team. It really, like, I can't do nothing without them, it's all, and it's also input from a lot of people, like our future projects. It's people on the street telling me, hey, do you know we need to do this? Or it's a small town, I've lived here my whole life, but you don't see every single nook and cranny.
No, we're new, so
Yeah.
we're trying to keep our,
Yeah, so
new, so.
I love it when
set
people,
the village, right?
yeah, I love it when people say like,
I'll promise everybody that a lot of villages aren't going after all that, the grant money and that he can say it's everybody, but that's a big deal because not everybody even looks at it. So, and it does definitely help improve us.
The best thing to do is to stay involved.
Yep.
In our village. If you see a problem, come and tell us so we can
Well,
fix it.
It's our first house.
yep, yeah,
So we'll move in.
that's, hey, I like hearing input, I do.
Facebook is not a good place to air
Yeah.
complaints, because there's no change. But coming to council is a way to do it.
Yeah. This is the first time. We wanted to do it like 3 months ago.
Yep.
It seemed like,
Oh, it's hard.
I deal with other situations,
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Any questions over grants? If not, we'll move into maintenance report. Casey?
Maintenance, the major things you see is the CCR report now, which is just your water report for the year. Tells us basically our water report card for the year. We had no incident, we had nothing with that. We're still trying to track down the possible leak that we've got because our plant's still producing more water than it normally would for this time of year, especially with the pool being down. We've repaired a couple hydrants, we still got a few more, we're trying to figure out some part issues. Because if you happen to look around the town, you'll notice that we have 4 different hydrants. And when I
Types of
say
hydrants.
Fire hydrants, yeah,
Yeah.
4 different fire hydrants, but when I say 4 different ones, that's 4 different companies. And we have probably a couple of them that have 2 and 3 different ones under that one company. So, yeah, it's getting to be fun, trying to figure out which parts actually work and don't. We've also got the summer hires scraping and painting them, so that way we can, because that way we'll have better visibility on them. We've been working with Councilman Pangborn on a checklist for vehicles. And we got the removing of the old signs and putting up new street signs where needed. But it's basically, we're trying to get rid of all the old, outdated, out of the village. And we're still trying to clean up and clear up the old farm property that we bought over by the
Water plant?
water plant. And if somebody needs firewood, just let us know. We can come and get it all.
Just let us know. Don't enter the property without us
Yes,
knowing, because the
don't-
cops will escort you off if you don't have permission, but, yeah.
Just let us know and we will more than likely pull a log or two out for you. We've got time. And that's all I got. Oh, also next week we'll be running around, while we're looking for the leaks, Mike will be here, Mike Copeland.
Okay.
From Ohio Rural Water. So if you see us out running around listening to fire hydrants, we're not crazy.
They are crazy.
Well,
They
they are crazy, but.
Like a month ago or something?
Yeah. When you're dealing with water, it's constantly
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, so, I mean, just, I don't wanna say we're always chasing leaks, but it's nothing for someone to have a leak in their house and use a lot of water, and it doesn't go through their meter, so they don't know it. So just last month, someone had a water leak outside their house against their foundation before their meter. It made a pond in front of by their house on the backside. They didn't think anything about like, hey, I should probably let the village know. I'm not paying for the water because it's not coming through my meter, but like everyone's saying, like, there's a high water usage, we can't find it. Well, we're not walking up to people's yards and looking in their back, like, we're not doing that kind of stuff. So what they do is we have the technology of they're listening to the system to find out where does it sound like there's that rush, and then trying to, okay, there's 4 homes here, let's start knocking on doors. And there's I don't say a lot, but it happens more often than what you think. Before Mugshots opened, 3 months, 4 months straight, like every month there was a water break in there that they didn't know about, but we knew it because we saw it by the numbers. But in their basement, they had a direct access, they have a direct access to the storm line, and it was just going right out into a creek, out of the village where we never even saw it. But again, no one thought of, checking your basement, checking this and type thing, so there's always something. It's like owning an old car, you're always fixing something.
And also, one last thing is a reminder that they are working on the Walnut Tower.
Yeah, and just while you're talking about fire hydrants and all that, we did have a truck driver take out a fire hydrant in front of Mugshots. You'll see a cone there. That's going through the insurance process once we get all that, and again, that's an old American Darling or a Clow?
No, that's a Darling.
Darling, but an older generation.
Yeah, it's a 4.5, not a 5.25.
Yeah. So parts change, so we have American Darling parts, but not for that specific one. But just so everyone know, we started this 15, 20 years ago. Anytime we replace a hydrant, we go to Mueller. Mueller has been Mueller for 100 years. They don't change nothing. So that way, long-term, we'll just be Mueller, and that's all we have to worry about. That way, we don't have to worry about this stuff. But that'll take time to get there. But that's in process. So in case you see that there is a hydrant missing, we know about it. It will get replaced once we get through the insurance process and get a contractor to do that.
That's all we got.
All right. Police report, Captain?
Okay. Well, as everybody knows, Chief is on vacation. He said he sent this email, so everybody get email on it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess I was ready to read it.
Hit the highlights for us.
Pardon?
Hit the highlights for us.
Oh, okay.
Casey talked too long.
Mayor talked about the idea of officers available letter of costs and stuff, about supplement that. Anyway, so she touched on that. We're getting field training done pretty much for the 2 officers, Foster and Kelly. They're working several days a week. I work with them some, parole officer, Morris work with them. My wife unfortunately just had surgery, major surgery, so I have really not been able to do too much, just stick around the house. So hopefully next week I'll be freed up, she'll be moving a lot better, I can trust, leave her home, because she'll get hurt. So, and then it goes on that, where last month, the mayor Chief Garber participated in escorting Eyes of Freedom Marine Corps Memorial to the Lima Company, which took the most loss in Iraq. So that was a good thing for this part to be into, that made their appearance. This escort was from Reynoldsburg to Millersport, other agencies including Fairfield, Lincoln Sheriff's Office, Newark, Baltimore, and Millersport PD also joined in that. So there's a mutual agreement between us and nearby villages are still in process, so that hasn't been finished yet.
Yeah.
And let's see, in April, Chief Garber took a report of a male subject that assaulted 2 people in a home on East Livingston with a machete while he was allegedly under the influence of illegal drug. Pleasantville PD was not on duty during the incident, but took a report later, after the fact when we were notified. No warrant was obtained for the individual's arrest. In late May, Lancaster PD picked him up on a warrant and took him to jail. So Chief Warren testified before a grand jury about the facts of the case, and they were reported to me. Grand jury indicted him on 2 counts of felonious assault, as well as felony cocaine possession during the Lancaster PD arrest. So he's currently in jail waiting on trial. And then during the Royal Parade, during a pit stop at the park, Chief Garber, excuse me, Chief Garber was flagged down by a female. He was in the lead of the parade. I was in the very tail end of the parade. I was still at the very back of the parade, staying back here around the people there. Anyway, he was female. He was flagged down by a female subject running away from the apartments on Richland Road. Chief Garber and myself had to get out of the parade to handle an active domestic situation. As a male that was chasing her came to the park looking for her. He was detained and later formally arrested for domestic violence and transported to the jail. So Mayor finished up the parade, and neither one of us was around to do it. And so he took care of that. So, and then on our last Mayor's Court, Parole Officer Moore and myself, we went over to Fairfield Beach and arrested a woman who had been failing to appear for court, brought her into court. So that was straightened up through court that day. And then the case summary for what he has, which Chief Garber has access to remotely. We had 40 traffic stops, 2 warrants, 2 thefts, 2 domestics, 2 suspicious people. They investigated 8 complaints, had 5 crashes, and assisted the fire 3 times. Which is fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And again, I point this out a lot at every meeting, but you're usually not here, but just make sure everyone's aware, like, our police chief does not get paid. He works 40 to 60 hours a week donating his time. Captain Schenkel does not get paid as well. He volunteers his time. Officer Moore, again, I don't know how many hours you put in either, but, you know, he volunteers his time. So a lot of the main people you see are volunteers. And they're doing so to make sure that we are able to stand up a police department, ensure we can buy what's needed for their safety before we actually start paying people. You know, hopefully we can keep that as long as I can, because I like people that work for free, right? But, you know, just, I always like to brag on you guys, because not everyone knows that.
I read that, I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, because I've had people
Like, wow.
tell me that we're paying $100,000 a year for officer, which is not anywhere close. We've only spent $20-some thousand total standing up a police department. Go ahead, sir.
Well, the 27 years I've done this,
Mhm.
I've been paid probably 1 year, I worked in Thornville. They had the money, they paid me part-time, they paid me for 30 hours, rather I worked 60.
Yeah.
I got paid for 30. I got paid $5.99 an hour, I think it was, just under $6 an hour.
Mhm.
And then I got paid for 1 month in Thornville when I was acting chief. So in the 27 years, I've been paid probably 1 year.
So you fit in perfect here with the rest of us. Underpaid.
And in fact, the last department I was at,
Mhm.
went qualified, I had to buy my own rounds,
Yeah,
but they didn't have any rounds for my gun. So
Yeah.
I paid, I qualified both times, I paid for my round both times.
yeah. So, but I just want to make sure you guys know that we appreciate it. And again, I always like to brag on people, or, you know, brag to people that you guys are doing that, because not everyone knows it. So just, again, thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate it, and I know I get nothing but positive feedback. So,
Yeah, no, it's a dangerous job, and for you not to do it unpaid is absolutely,
Amazing.
yeah.
Most officers who know, they come to small towns, pretty well know they're not gonna get paid.
yeah,
You know, they know that.
yeah. And if they do get paid, it's not very well. Like, yeah.
But you get to be with us, so what more?
I was gonna say, yeah.
What more could you want?
All right, old business, the only thing we had on old business, you guys done a phone vote, to allow me to enter into a contract with American Leak Detection, which is a contractor that's doing the work at the pool. Just because there was some change in their contract, just to make sure I did have the full authority to execute that contract, so that was passed unanimously. Any other old business? If not, we'll go into new business. New business, Resolution 6/13/2401, County 911 Program. A resolution pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 12806A5 to select Mayor Jason Henderson of Pleasantville to the County 911 Program Review Committee and the declaration of an emergency. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Michelle made a motion.
I'll
Any
second it.
seconded by Corey? Roll call?
Michelle, Corey.
Yep, Michelle,
Sure.
Corey.
President Dumont,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Pingler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wharton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
All right, Resolution 6/13/2402, supplemental appropriations. Be it resolved by the Village of Pleasantville Council, the following supplemental appropriations be approved. General Fund, $11,886.36 for professional and technical services for grant funding. General Fund, $2,975 for professional and technical services for Mayor's Courtroom. General Fund, $6,000 professional and technical services for ABC, which is our contractor for our electronics. Street Fund, $3,000 for operations, material, and supplies. Police Fund, $8,325.81 for the capital outlay for the grant vest, for the grant we got for the ballistic vest. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Seconded by Bill. Roll call?
President Dumont,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Pingler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wharton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
Ordinance 6/13/2401, an ordinance concurring with the mayor's final appointment of Nicholas R. Garver as the full-time police chief for the Village of Pleasantville and the declaration of an emergency. This ordinance will now make Chief Garver our permanent police chief, as he has passed his probation period successfully. Thank you.
I'll make a motion,
I'll make a motion.
and I'll second it.
Corey made the motion, Michelle second. Roll call?
President Dumont,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Pingler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wharton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
Ordinance 6/13/2402, an ordinance promoting Officers Caden Foster and Officer Bryce Kelly to a part-time position with the Pleasantville Police Department and the declaration of emergency. Just to highlight some of this, it is 2 part-time positions at an hourly rate of $20 per hour with a maximum allowable hours of 30 hours of work per officer per week based on current budget limitations. Just so everyone knows, the current budget limitation is $3,000 for the year. So again, language to make sure we have it there when we need it, but there is no funding for the position. This is more of a, let's get it on the books so when we need it, and if we ever get funding, we can fund that line. And again, this will also put them into a 6-month probationary period.
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second it.
Corey made the motion, Michelle second. Roll call?
President Dumont,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Pingler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wharton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
All right, this right here, I just need a motion to accept the $15,000 from the Fairfield County Land Bank revitalization for the, okay, thank you, for the mini grant that we talked about up there.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
All right, Sarah made the motion. And Katie second. Roll call?
President Dumont,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Pingler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wharton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
All right. Next motion is to approve the contractor, Nash Builders, for a total of $25,972 to complete the said grant work.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Bill made the motion, Sarah second. Roll call?
This was, I'm so sorry, can we back up for a second? The second one was for what?
To approve Nash Builders for $25,972.
Okay, thank you.
Bill made the motion and Sarah seconded it.
So, Sarah. Thank you, sorry.
No, you're fine.
You're good. We're going fast.
I'm getting tongue-tied over here.
Sarah and,
Oh my golly.
so these are all out of order, okay. Or I'm out of order.
I was.
You're all out of order.
I'm going down the list as it's on my list. All right, are you caught up?
I am,
Okay.
good now, okay.
All right.
So President Jamal.
Yes.
Councilman Mason.
Yes.
Councilman Pangborn.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next is lot split under the water tower survey. So we talked about this, the property that is due west of the old water tower. It's owned by Mr. McCafferty. He's willing to trade us some part of his parcel for part of our parcel to expand the park and give him some off-street parking. I looked and to see what it would cost to have that survey to be able to do that. I got with our engineering. You guys have an email in front of you for $7,500, which I know is expensive. I've been doing some more digging and calling around. I finally got someone today, Tobin McFarland, which is a Lancaster company, which does a lot of the surveys around here. He said about $2,000. He can give me a better price once he comes up here and looks at it. But for tonight, just to see if we wanted to proceed or not, I knew $7,500 was too much. But he said to kind of throw out a rough number, around $2,000 maybe to do that. And we can do a firm price and then vote on that once he gives us that firm price, if you guys are still good with moving forward.
Can I ask a question real quick? This right here is park, right?
I have to look at it.
Behind Whetstone Alley?
Yes, but, so yeah, if you're looking at the attachment, this right here is the park down here in this corner.
Yeah.
This is what we currently own, and these are some of the parcels we're trying to get
Right,
on that backside of that baseball diamond, to be able to expand that out.
got it.
It's also the area that no one takes care of, and it's always trashy, so let's just take it and,
Right.
when I say
I'm
take
just
it,
trying to
yeah.
think about
So-
where exactly it's
Yeah.
at.
Not to be picky, but what size property is he?
Where he's getting a smaller lot, a smaller section than us.
Okay.
Let me
But it's
pull it
gonna
up.
be more convenient.
Let me pull it up on the screen.
Yeah,
Be
that would be
easier.
good, because I don't think I remember this part.
Okay.
Cause where I'm thinking it is I'm down off of where Academy, where the fence is, and it looks like there's like a little alley. Is that Whetstone Alley?
Yeah,
But I'm on this end of the alley, and I think you guys are talking about that end.
Yes,
yeah.
Is that true?
yeah.
I think it's the same alley that we just turned part of it two-way and part of it one-way.
It's in that area,
Yeah.
but it's not,
That's
yeah.
Walnut. Yeah. Whetstone Alley is,
Oh, his property's on Whetstone Alley.
His property is on Walnut Street. Our property is on Whetstone Alley.
Oh, okay.
So-
See, that's
No,
what
I
I
said
was
that back.
thinking
I'm
is,
sorry, no,
his
I said it
property, I think,
backwards.
is on Walnut.
Our,
It's right under the water.
both properties are on Walnut Street, but what we're trying to get is on the back side
Gotcha.
of Walnut.
Okay.
So we'll have to end up doing a lot split.
You
I'll
can
pull
only,
up the
you
map.
can only get to it from Whetstone Alley.
Yeah.
What we're getting.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Well, you can only get to it through the park.
Yeah,
Right, but what
Right
he's
along
getting
the-
is what, giving him parking on Walnut?
yes,
Okay.
right. Basically where he's parking now, it's giving him access to that.
Oh, okay.
I've always parked on that.
There anyway.
Yeah. It's cleaning up,
It's not giving him additional parking for additional homes.
no,
He's
it's just giving
they're
him,
using it anyway.
Yeah, let me pull this up and that way we can look at it.
Does anybody use that alley? Do people go up?
Are you
that
talking
alley?
about Whetstone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, people do use it.
I think a lot.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
that stands needs a lot.
They're gonna know. No one's gonna know. We know now. No one's gonna know. They're gonna know.
I don't know what I don't know.
Sorry, just give me a second, I'm just zooming in on this image. I can do it better on my computer than I
think there's
can.
a rule like ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Right.
All right, so I'll back out here just a little bit so you can get a better idea, but like here's Pleasantville Park, Lincoln Avenue, Walnut Street, Main Street, okay? So I'm gonna zoom back in. So what we're talking about is he owns this parcel here,
Yes.
and it goes clear back here, like jets into our park.
Mm-hmm.
And then we own this property here, which is where the water tower is. He currently utilizes this. That property, when I say he, that property, no matter who's ever owned it, has always, has always utilized that as parking, which is no big deal. This area back here, like, it's always wooded, it's always trashy, like.
So we're
and-
basically trading the back and he gets.
Yes,
the
we're gonna
little
draw a
bit
straight
back.
line down there. We're gonna get this part, and then he's going to get 20 feet in from there, enough to get a car in. But we also retain all rights to the
Right-of-way.
property for right-of-way.
Gotcha,
Um,
okay.
That's what we're gonna do. And then, bigger picture, we're also trying to get this piece of property donated to us too, which is owned by someone else.
Okay.
Again, it's the same type thing. The property it's attached to is this one on Main Street. No, not that one. That one. This is not buildable, and it just sits there and it has trash on it. So it'll help clean up the park, and it'll help expand the park, so.
Right.
So I'm working
Okay.
on that one too, but Mr. McCafferty has said he's willing to trade, it just we need to do a survey to get that done.
Is that plot of land for sale? Or is it just,
I'm trying to get it donated. It's not on the market, it's not ever been talked about, it's just, it's a problem property, and this is the best solution, in my opinion, to get rid of it.
hard to sell it anyhow, it's
Yeah.
not a buildable piece of
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, it's, you can't.
well, you could, I wasn't thinking building, I
Yeah.
was just thinking, you know. Okay.
So, but yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about there. So if you guys are good at maybe spending $2,000, I'll go ahead and get Tobin McFarland to give an actual quote, and then we can go from there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
Do we need a
Do
motion?
we need
No.
a motion?
No, not on that, just
Okay.
make sure that we're on the same page before I start bugging people for quotes. Because it'll take him some time to research that. All right. The next thing on here for new business, everyone has a sheet on here. When we printed this off, it's like $400 for a PA system, a portable PA system that we can use for multiple things at our parades, at our festival, and all that. The ones we have now, like, they're old and they're falling apart, but make sure it's just okay to go ahead and buy that. I didn't think it'd be a problem, but just to make sure.
Yep.
All right, festival update.
Do we need a motion for that, to purchase those items?
No,
No?
I can, I just, again, just want to make sure everyone knows what I'm doing, since it's an oddball purchase.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right, do you want to give the festival update, or?
I can?
Okay. I've talked enough tonight.
So we have, what, about $22,000 in donations, right? and
Almost,
sponsorships?
almost 20.
Almost $22,000 in sponsorships right
Almost
now.
20, not 22.
20.
Yeah.
I took 2 more in today.
Oh, did you? Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know about that,
So
so,
about 21, let's
Okay.
say that comfortably, 21,000 in sponsorships. We have all 3 bands lined up. Our food court is full. We have 3 returning, 2 returning, 3 returning,
I had one drop out.
and 1 dropout.
Yep,
1 old,
no, new.
1 new.
Yeah.
But we have some new
Yeah.
trucks coming in too, so,
So are we full or we have actually one more spot?
We have at least one more spot, so, yeah. But
but we
there's,
have a good variety. We have, what,
Yeah.
6 trucks?
yeah, so Jimmy Jawbreakers is coming back finally after
Yeah.
15 years away. Freedom
Grill.
Freedom Grill will be back.
Mhm.
One of Mugshot's trailers, because they own multiple trailers now. Last year they brought in grilled cheese gangsters, but I'm not
Right.
sure which one they're gonna bring in.
Right,
Damale, which is a branch of the Masonic Temple, it's the youth group, correct, Bill? And they're gonna do funnel cakes. Then we have Betty Sweet Treats,
Mhm.
which they kind of do funnel cakes plus all kinds of other stuff. Tornado Twister, and she does like spinny potatoes, but sandwich, like she has a bunch of stuff on her menu. There was one more.
I know, I'm sure I don't like it too.
Yeah. The one that we had drop out was the pizza place.
Oh, okay.
They ended up having a wedding that weekend, so they
I
had
did
to
see that.
change, so. But we'll find someone, hopefully we'll find someone to replace her.
If not, we still have a good 6
Yep.
trucks and it's a good lineup.
Yes.
Last
So,
year, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're fine.
Last year, the one thing that everybody wanted was a sweet truck.
Mhm.
They
And
wanted it
Sweet
sweet.
Betty's is good.
So-
And plus we have, if we have funnel cakes as well,
That's,
so.
an American Grill, they have so much stuff, like
Yeah, the Freedom Grill.
Freedom Grill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've got a great selection.
I do too. I think the food court's gonna be great.
If you haven't had Jimmy Jawbreakers, I'm just saying.
Have you heard of them before?
What?
Oh, nuh-uh.
You're not from here.
Wait a minute.
What?
I've never heard of them.
Well, get
Oh,
it while
wow.
you can. Jamie Mast is who owns it. Her dad started, not to take up anyone's time,
Oh, God,
but
it's so good.
Jimmy was her dad and owned multiple restaurants in Lancaster back in the 60s and 70s, and every one of them was very successful. And one of them was a hamburger joint called Jimmy Jawbreakers. And it's just a hamburger with his own
It's
homemade
magic.
sauce.
It's
Yeah.
not
Magic
Well,
on it.
It's not.
But when you look at it, it's just a hamburger, but when you
Magic
bite
elixir.
into it, like, and it's something you only get in Lancaster. She now only does food trucks,
Okay.
but she only does 8
She's-
shows a year.
And people will do what she wants.
Yeah.
To get her there.
I'm excited to try it now.
Yes,
So good.
yeah.
I grew up in Columbus, so.
All of us
Yeah.
are gonna be at the Jimmy
Yeah,
Jawbreaker truck.
her line is, if you see her at the fair, she usually has one of the longest lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anywhere she goes, she
Yeah,
has a
you'll
long
know
line.
If you go early, you can just kind of space it out so you can hit like
Yep.
each one.
And if you
can
like,
try a little
She
bit
has
of
cream
everything.
puffs too, so don't
Or
just
if
get
you
the
go-
hamburger.
I was gonna say, yeah, her mom's potato salad recipe is delicious. She still makes it homemade, and her cannolis is her mom's recipe.
If you go early enough, you can go twice.
Yeah. Like a true Italian cannoli is delicious and is different from an American cannoli. Her American cannoli is to die for.
Yeah.
Like, it's not on the same level as a real Italian cannoli, but like for Ohio cannoli, it is delicious.
Okay.
So that's enough
Yeah.
promoting Jamie.
I need some sweets.
Holy cannoli. So posters are being worked on the beginning of July. We have, all of our sponsors have to have their artwork in by the 26th of this month. And we're actually upgrading the size of posters this year. They're gonna be a little bit larger, not quite,
And we're gonna make sure that it's like not, Pleasantville's not this big and there are things like this big.
on the banners, correct. On the posters though, we're upgrading from the 11 by 17 to 13 by 19. So they'll be bigger posters, not like the Lancaster Festival size,
Mhm.
but they're bigger posters this year, so that's exciting. The parade starts at 11, Coastnight's gonna be there all day, starting at 1. We do have rides again. Are we bringing big kid rides in this year?
He's supposed to bring in a couple rides for older kids,
Older kids?
whatever that means.
Okay, so not just the baby rides like we had last year?
That's what I was told.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So I'm already, our permit was approved. We only have an F permit, which is beer only this year, because of the location. We were denied the beer and wine permit,
Because Pleasantville's still dry by the state law
correct?
from an 1863 ordinance somewhere.
So we are beer only.
Well, we need to find that one.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Well,
I'm like, do we need to add that to our list?
yeah, well, actually, it has to be, new law, you have to take it to the voters. They have to vote out the old and then allow. So we do have some work to be done, because I know we
Yeah.
talked about someday wanting to be able to do a DORA once we start establishing business and all that. So that would impact that DORA as well, so.
I already tried. As soon as she
Yeah.
emailed me and said it was denied, I was like, what do I need to do, Jason?
Yeah.
Like, can we do it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because I'm already back at work.
So the beer only,
That's what we had last year.
okay,
Yeah.
so we can get that mango beer back.
If they have it.
Yeah.
I only can get what they get, and if they don't have mango in stock, then I'll work on it.
I will find you a mango beer and bring it to you.
That's what I
Cory.
was gonna say, there's that great place in Newark
'Cause you only
called
have one beer,
Bakehouse. I
right?
bet they have a
I
mango.
only had one, but
Yeah.
it was delicious, I might have two. It has to drive me home.
So we have COSI, Jason's gonna get the face painter and a balloon artist for the kids' corner. I'm checking into pricing for characters. I found 2 different companies that are local that have those. And I have somebody who's willing to help with the silent auction donations, so if anybody else is willing to help gather silent auction donations, I know our vendors are donating. But to get extra stuff, the gal who, did the auction last year retired. So, Jen's gonna help, I'm just waiting to get Tony's list and
Okay.
Sam shipped out,
Okay, yeah, I know. I talked to her over the weekend, so.
yeah.
All right. All right, thanks for that update.
Can you send me an updated vendor thing? Because I know people have been sending
Yeah.
me stuff.
I have a couple checks that are sitting, but it's been crazy over there with
It's okay, as long as,
stuff, but I will put it on my list.
I've been talking to people online about it. And
All right. All right, thanks.
the only thing that we have to make sure of next year is that there's 2 different times listed. There's one time on one form and another time on another form. So we have to make sure that the times match next year, because it's
Okay.
All right. So we'll go around the room. Katie? All right. You feel more comfortable after your couple meetings now with us?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
I'm getting there.
starting to figure out we're still all a little goofy?
Yeah,
All right. Sarah?
I know that we don't really have control over this, but I have had, some individuals complaining about, mail delivery since, Dave's retirement.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying that it's anywhere from like a 2-week to a month delay from like when things are mailed out to when they get it. So I just wanted to bring that
Okay.
to everybody's attention.
If they have concerns, our postmasters in Bremen is how this works now under the new federal law. So they would lodge any complaints down there with them.
Okay.
Now, in the past, this has happened, and usually it happens, I think, about summertime. There's certain type of mail that comes out of these rural areas, our water bill being one of them because of the size. Even though we're sending it from my mailbox to your mailbox in that same building, it goes from my mailbox to Columbus on a special machine that's 80 years old, that only one guy that's ready to retire knows how to use. And if it breaks down, then it could be one of those
If
situations.
they're on vacation, it sits
Yeah.
there until he comes back
Yeah.
from vacation.
Last time we had the problem, it wasn't here, it was there.
Columbus, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So just make sure people understand, it may not be a direct relationship with Dave retiring and the new person coming in. Not saying it's not, but
Yeah.
there's
I mean,
also.
I spoke to
yeah.
Cindy
Yeah,
myself. I called her. I was like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
I've noticed like with us specifically, we had like a 2-week delay.
yeah.
I was like, hey, just wanted to touch base,
Yeah.
see what's going on. But yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
just, in general,
Yeah.
let you guys know about it.
No, no problem. That's good to know. That way if people call.
I've been getting more mail, so.
Have you?
And I'm not really lying.
And here's the thing is it also,
Oh, really?
Certain
Yeah,
parts of
no,
town,
I
if
used
you
to
don't have-
not get a bunch of mail, and now I
if you
do.
don't have a PO box on your letters, they'll put up with it for a little while, but then they'll stop giving you.
Oh yeah, they'll
Yeah.
send it right back.
Yeah.
Dave was not shy about doing that.
Well, a lot of that's done in
because-
Bremen.
That's
So
done
you
in
gotta
Bremen.
remember,
Oh,
we technically are not a I mean, for what you see, there's a post office there, but when they reform the US Postal Service to save money, by regulation, it's only a true post office if there's a postmaster, which makes $100 and some thousand a year. Don't know what it is, but it's up there.
Yeah.
Not every little town that has this small of a population can afford, the federal government can't do it. So what they did is they took a lot of villages and consolidated them. They kept a post office, a structure, but the postmaster's in Bremen. That's the reason why I say our postmaster's there. That means every piece of mail has to go before him and his staff there before it can come here. So Dave took a brunt of a lot of people, you did this to me. It wasn't Dave, to be honest. And he just took it, because again, you're not gonna argue with someone. They're just gonna be like, I'm sorry, we'll try better. But yeah, just, it could be something else, but the best thing to do is to call down there. One, if there is a problem locally, it could be handled. And if not, maybe someone can tell them like, hey, the bigger problem is there's a machine down in Columbus or, whatever. Because usually if people know, they feel better versus, I just think you're not doing your job.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. But no, thanks for that update. Corey?
Nothing.
Michelle? Bill? Bob?
I would like to say, something we need to keep in mind as council is the field behind Second Street's up for sale. If that should happen to fall in a developer's hands, we need to kick around some ideas of what we could do to provide water for them new builds. And our plant would not handle another 50 houses, I don't think. It would push it to its limits. So it's something that we need to keep in mind, and maybe have a plan in place just in case.
Yeah.
There is a water line there that we tap in very easily. It's just having the amount of water to do it.
It's having the plant to produce it.
Right.
Yeah, because that's one of the things we have up there is there's grant money to build a plant all day long, but there's no money to design one. And one of our things up there is a design. And what is the design? $450,000. So that's like our bottleneck right now.
Right.
But I know Tony gave me a name, I haven't called it yet. The Tonka, the people that have the controller out there, they have a way to expand your plant without going through that big. So it may be like a temporary expansion
Right.
type thing, but that might be something to work on.
Fine.
Yeah,
Even another water tower would be
yeah,
feasible,
mhm,
just to get by.
yeah. All right, Penny?
We have our starter audit on June 24th through the 26th, so we'll be starting that next week, 2 weeks. So.
So when you call the office and Penny's crying or
If I
screaming?
growl or cry, I'm sorry.
I don't normally call, I text, so she'll have to put a cryy face. Yeah.
Oh, send it to Penny.
I
I'll
have
share.
to deal with you, send the chocolate the same.
I'm just gonna get a big
Just send
stick
double the
and
chocolate so they can
Big
both
white-
have equal amounts.
stick a white handkerchief on the end and wave it through the door first.
All right, Sam, you have anything?
I do not.
All right. Any last comment from anyone else? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. I'll carry it.
Bill made the motion, Sarah second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned at 8:06.
I need all those resolutions signed.
Oh,
Well, maybe.
And that's why I took him up there and gave them to him, and then he didn't do it. No, it's Jason, not Penny. I give them to him.
Yeah, hold on one second, I'll get those for you.
Thank you, Casey.